the the challenge edition, the additional podcast for, um, I guess, for super fans to get together to talk about the latest episode of the challenge. Except that we're missing our super fan today.
Yeah. Oh, again.
Yeah. So hopefully we can hold our fort down without Ruth. She's usually the one that has all the back story and information that we have, but she has a trip that she went on, and she'll be back here by her next week again. Greg, how you doing?
Ah, I'm doing all right. It's early. I'm awake. I'm here. I'm here. This is the challenge, man. We are in the challenge right now. Can he stay awake?
Yes, that's true. We are a day and a half late from our usual time of going on to talk about the challenge. We are Saturday morning. We're the Saturday morning nerds talking about the challenge.
Yeah.
So, um, I can't say I want to be able to answer all your questions. If we have any questions that have to do with backstory on the challenge, what's it called, drama. But we can try to do something. We'll see what we can answer.
All right.
Before we get too far into it, anything you want to specifically talk about on this episode?
On this episode, I think like it was one of those ones where there was definitely a lot of things like things were coming out of stuff, So we're seeing. I feel like before there was a lot of like specific, like it was very much like you see this teams kind of like figuring out their unification or strategizing and stuff like that, figuring out how they're going to work together. And this one, it felt like some of that was falling apart.
The band-aid
Beginning,
is coming off.
yeah, the band-aid is coming off. I was
It's
like,
it's
whoa.
like when you have someone come visit your house and
Hmm.
the family is nice and perfect and all, and then as soon as they leave, everyone's fighting with each other.
Oh man.
Kind of like like what you would see like in The Simpsons or in Roseanne in back in the
Right.
day in the episodes, and everyone's supposed to be nice and straight with everybody. But now that one of the errors is almost gone,
Hmm.
they need to
Oh
know now. They need to go ahead and really start getting dirty.
yeah, because they're like it felt like they're like, oh hey, they're getting weak. Let's go for it. They're the the claws are out. The fangs are shown. They're going for the jugular.
And we have to remember that last week Josh did get what's it called? Do we want to say manipulated or tricked into not throwing Johnny's name out there
I
in for elimination?
I feel like I think manipulated might be a good
Taken
way to
advantage
say it.
of.
He was take he was treated like they were buddy friends, and they really didn't have that type of connection. Um, from what you all were telling me, like hey, they never really had that kind of thing, and then you start to see that like kind of unfold. They were never uh, that tight, and then all of a sudden it's that, oh hey, it's that the star quality or
Yeah,
whatever you want to call it. He was
it's
like,
like if I went
oh,
on some on Survivor and all of a sudden Bustin' Rob was even my best friend. Like, oh yeah,
exactly. And you're
yeah.
like,
The same
wait a
thing with
minute.
Josh and Johnny. Yeah, yeah. No, I get it. Like what Ruth had said last week was that she's never seen Josh and Johnny be so close, and all of a sudden they're talking about them being super close.
Hmm. And it's like, dude, he's just utilizing the fact that you have some sort of power in his
Hmm.
game for the week, and he wants to be on your good side, and he's gonna ride
And
that out until whatever.
and like I said, well, we told you there's a reason why Johnny was the first one out of the traders.
Oh, I know, right? Yeah.
Yeah. So even if you didn't know anything about Johnny, you knew something, at least something that people did not trust him from other shows that probably didn't even know him all that well either, but they knew enough.
They definitely gotta you. There's something about the he's like the kind of guy you're like, hey man, what's this car like on the car lot? And he slaps it and tells you like you could fit like you know 20 people in it.
You
Um,
can fit 20 people and two elephants.
Yeah, yeah, and it's like, no, 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 I ain't
So
doing
yeah,
that.
so we still have some tensions rolling over from previous weeks, and as the weeks get as we further get along in the challenge, people start dropping off, and it's just gonna keep going. Well, like we also saw last week, we saw Bananas getting in with Devin and Michelle's relationship and trying to poke a hole in it, not to really trust them, even though they are dating. Hey, you need to do what's right for your era.
Yeah, he's just kind of like slowly putting the wedges in there, like, hey, this is a better game move than you can do that on the outside, but we need to do it here.
Yeah, and the thing is, I mean, I guess Johnny is kind of known for just not really caring about outside relationships. When during the game, he will backstab you no matter how, if he needs to. Which honestly, it's a game,
Right.
right? Part of the game. This is part of the game.
Hmm.
You all know someone's gonna only one or two people, depending on how they end up doing it, is gonna win.
Yeah.
Someone is gonna get hurt. Someone's gonna get upset. Why let it be you?
Right.
Why don't you become the person that cuts everybody off for the money? It's money.
Hmm.
Come on. I mean, what do they call the
Yeah.
root of all evil? And you're doing it on purpose. It's not like you're not like going into the situation where you're like, oh, no one's gonna betray me.
Yeah, no, it definitely feels like the game. If it was if we were watching, in the earlier episodes, we're picking up on like, oh, it's all about the team building or the trust. This episode lays it out like where that kind of thing is like falling apart because it's definitely you're starting to see the facade fall off from some people, and see those layers. If we didn't see a lot of that last episode, for sure, with the way that things were happening,
Well,
this one definitely cracks it.
and like I had said before, almost in the beginning of the podcast, is do not eliminate people now because you're afraid of them later on. Because now now you're in a position that you might have needed those people to help beat other people.
Right?
That
I know. Like it feels like they got rid of. I mean, they pushed the wrong people into certain challenges that they didn't necessarily need to do that at that point because they would have been way better for their game later. But they were looking at it like they were looking at the end game too hard as to like who do they want to stand next to, who do they want to compete next to, moving
in the end, yeah.
in the end, as opposed to who do we need for the next like five things.
Well, I mean, also self-nominating. I would never self-nominate. I don't care who you are. I would probably be more like Josh and who was it? Corey that didn't self-nominate, or I forgot
Stand
who it
back.
was. Yeah, or even I think Ryan got called out this week for not self-nominating
Yeah.
and by Bananas. And he's right though. He's right. The point of the game is stay in the challenge long enough to be able to try to make it to the end. And if you're self-nominating, you're putting yourself up for elimination that you might not, win. You might not come back. So why would you self-nominate?
Because all it takes is like you all losing one thing to get put into that,
Or
to have to be in the sand, or the
yeah,
team just deciding they don't want you around.
or you and then you end up having to take out nails and on a board, and you're not that great at that. You're awesome at powering through other stuff and through things, but nails on the board is just what the heck.
Yeah, yeah. Tough
But
stuff.
let's talk about the daily challenge.
Okay.
I think they called it leap of
The
faith. I think that's what they
I,
called
I
it.
I think so. This one, it definitely I think we talked about it a little bit last time. Definitely not our challenge. Not
No,
our thing. No way.
I mean I get that. I get that there's a harness. I get you're not gonna fall to the ground. You're not gonna die. Well, at least that's the hope, right? But
Yeah.
like, how do you battle against all your survival skill not to jump? That's my thing. It's like I would have had to
Yeah.
reset like I don't know how many times. So, Yeah.
Yeah, it's like you're jumping off the the Avengers building. Like you're not Iron Man. You can't fly away from this.
Yeah,
You're like
exactly.
you
Yeah.
fall straight down. Like
So
whoopsies.
if I got this correctly, they had to get one of the flags, and depending on the flags, it was gonna add or deduct time, right, from the thing. And if you pulled two instead of just one, you were gonna get a 5 minute penalty. But if you got the specific one, you were gonna knock out. Forgot the amount of time was gonna. But the thing is, there was one specifically you really really want to try to get.
Mhm.
Um, and I forgot if anyone actually. Yeah, I think someone did get it. I just don't. I didn't write down who it actually was.
Yeah.
But then you, at the end of the day, you after you do that, you come back, and then you're having to do this puzzle, and all your time is added up, and of course, then that's where we go. Who got the final? Who got the least amount of time added on after the challenge
Hmm.
to actually figure out what who the what's it called the loser was.
Yeah.
The puzzles. I think the puzzles here for the challenge are always about the same.
Hmm.
So that's one thing that I had previously said. Yeah, the challenge does have better or scarier challenge, I should say, than other shows, or even a little bit more fun challenges to see visually as an audience. But
Yeah.
I think the puzzles are usually right around the same, and it's usually I don't know if it's done because most of them might not be able to do it if they don't do the not that they're easy. I think they're just it's usually the same type of puzzle, so people kind of already have an idea of how to do the puzzles already by a couple times that they've been back.
It's like they put uh two shows together, right? They took a show in which you're doing Death Defying Daredevil acts and Are You Smarter Than a Fifth Grader? And Can You
And
Spell Your
then
Name?
what
What
was
does
that?
TAT stand for?
What was that show where they had a bunch of kids living together in a town?
Oh my gosh. I
Is it
know
Kid
what you're
Town?
talking about. Kid Town.
No.
They're like doing all the things that
I
adults
think it was like
do.
Kid Nation or something like that. Something it was something like that.
This feels like that, yeah.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Some of the infighting they do. At the end of the day, what was it? Arrow One just can't get a break. They no matter because it been it hasn't been every single week, has it? That Arrow One has gone in.
I don't.
It's if it hasn't been every week, it's been really close to every week that everyone has had to either defend themselves or go home.
Hmm.
To the point where there's only four of them left at the beginning of this episode, and at the end of this episode, unfortunately, Daryl goes home. So does Tina. Wait, is it Tina or let me go back. I wrote down who it was, and I think it was Tina, but just want to make sure because everyone is not my strength.
Hmm.
Yeah, Daryl and Tina from Arrow One were the targets for Arrow One.
Hmm.
Arrow Three was in control of this one. Like I said before, I think really it's gonna come down to Arrow Three versus Arrow Four with the most people left. They've been the most consistently the most the strong teams,
Hmm.
and part of it I believe for Arrow Four at least is because they haven't been there that long to do as many cracks in their team. There is cracks, but as not as many as the like Arrow One or because they're a little bit older as well. If we've seen them in the past, they're a little bit older, but also people kind of already know what to expect from them.
Yeah, it's definitely like they did that. They they did good in being cohesive enough to do things together and or to work together within the two different teams to do things. But yeah, the way that some of those other deeper rooted feelings are popping up, we're gonna probably see a lot of that fall apart as everyone else falls aside.
Now I put a note
Because
here that this Era Three's first all out victory. I don't think it was, right.
I don't think it was their first all-out victory, but it definitely was probably one of the most pivotal ones because of the fact that it, as we're starting to see, like another era collapse up, it definitely made them stand out as the strongest or stronger era.
I think Era Four has the most, but me one, two, three, four, five, six. Wait, four, five, six. Why am I counting seven? This should be an even number, right? Oh no, because sometimes they don't go home from the same. So
No,
yeah, it makes sense. Yeah, two, three, four, five, six. So yeah, so Era Four has one more than Era Three. Era Two, one, two, three, four. Oh no, Era Two and Era Four actually have the same amount of people. Wow. Okay. I thought Era Two had lost a little bit more, but no. We are getting to the point where they're gonna have to turn on each other,
mm-hmm.
and we'll see. Um,
I felt like with the puzzle thing too, because all the other eras had multiple people working on the puzzle, they were able to kind of like lean on each other a lot. And then
mhm.
with Era One, it was just like Tina doing it herself, and she's like,
Yeah,
I just want to get through this.
and I did promise Ruth I'm not gonna bring up Survivor so much, but so in Survivor and other elimination type shows, usually when a team gets dwindled down like that, they kind of sit out other people from other teams to kind
Yeah,
of make it even.
balanced.
It really hasn't been like that here in the challenge, and I don't remember previous seasons if it's like that or not.
It definitely feels like they're doing it to power weight it. Like, okay, hey,
It's well, I kind of get it because like, hey, you are the ones that screwed up and
hmm
played the way you played, and unfortunately, just because you have lost more people doesn't mean you're gonna take it easy on you.
yeah, it just makes it more eventful if they win, right?
Yeah.
Good TV, good TV.
So the elimination. Um. What was this one called? The
I
box,
don't,
something
I
like a
don't.
box phobia box, right? It was
Yeah,
it's kind. I didn't really fully understand how this was supposed to work. You remove these obstacles from from the way, and you're going to reveal some numbers that you're going to be able to either
hmm
add up in a. Um, I don't know if were you supposed to use PIMDOS or are you just supposed to just do it in as it came across? You know what I mean?
I think you're supposed to do
Just
it
as
as
they
it
come
came up.
across.
Yeah,
Okay.
it 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 definitely. Yeah, it was. It's a the way that it came. It's a physical and mental challenge in a
Mm-hmm.
sense because you're having to pull everything out and then to get the numbers and then to do the uh, like figure out the code or at the end, and it's like there's a lot going on. And as you're going through that type of thing, I'm sure some people, it's a high stress situation, you're able to focus and maintain, and just work out that the physical aspect and the mental aspect. And some people, as we saw, um uh yes,
Take a little bit longer to.
Daryl.
Daryl have I've never known
Yeah,
Daryl to be like the quickest or the sharpest tool in the shed, but I actually like Daryl.
uh,
So
oh yeah, he's good,
yeah, he was he seemed like a cool guy.
but man,
I've known him for a couple of seasons that I've seen him in, but I've never known him to be like the smartest one. We saw earlier in the season where he threw in his own who people thought were he was tight with, just because he did he was put on the spot and he just said the name.
yeah,
So
And
It's
they're
not
like,
like
"What
he's
are you
this.
doing, dude?"
I'm not gonna say he's not the smartest, but I'm saying he's not game savvy. I think is what I should say. At the end of the day,
Time to
Michelle and
spread out the
Kylan,
sand,
huh?
taking the time to spread out the sand and
Oh yeah,
to do this math problem.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Michelle went up against Tina. Kylan went against Daryl, and both Arrow One contestants ended up going home. So yeah, Arrow One is left down to two people, and so it's Derek, who is already limping on one leg, which I don't remember seeing this be an issue after the challenge, after the daily challenge last episode. But in this episode, we saw it
Yeah.
be an issue again. And Rachel. So now, no matter what, Derek and Rachel are going to be targets if they don't go home week after week after week. So this whole thing about complaining about having to go again, unfortunately, you're going to be forced to be the targets. See the targets at the end of this night, where Kylie and Michelle chose Derek and Rachel by default. Derek and Cara Maria. Wait. Oh yeah. Corey and Avery, and Theo and Jenny. Corey and Jenny both feel like they have had to do this multiple times. Well, look, hey, that's part of the show. I mean, you're part of it. Like I said before, why would you auto nominate when the whole point of the game is make it to the end without getting thrown out?
Yeah. I mean, they did it to themselves early on.
Well, yeah, I think that's the thing. Like I said, the whole thing of like being honorable by nominating yourself. Come on, guys, you're talking about a show that literally just everyone's fighting every not everyone, but you're fighting with your friends pretty much for I don't know how many seasons in a row.
Yeah, and I think honestly too, when if you auto nominate and then you've done something, you've done you've been on, uh, you've been up as a target. It's easy for people to just say your name again because it's fresh in their mind the next time around. Oh, they were a target before. Or let's put them back up again.
And well, they might be tired
Not,
already.
obviously can't do it consecutively, but yeah, just like thin the herd.
Yep. Well, and that's the thing. Why wouldn't the teams take shots now at the stronger players? If you're thinking about nominating your own people from your own team because they're a little bit too strong, why wouldn't the other teams do it to you?
Yeah. And they're gonna.
Yeah, exactly. In exit interviews, Daryl did say that they felt that the odds were stacked against them. But at the end of the day, it was the team's internal conflict that really ended up wiping out most of Error One. And he did feel like losing CT and Brad early in the going was really what started this whole snowball, and there was no way coming back from it.
Yeah, we lost two powerhouses, two people that added definite types of structure, leadership to the team, cohesiveness, right? So you had somebody that was your cohesive leader, in a sense, their driving force, and then you had the glue guy, that's just making everybody happy and fun to be around and stuff.
Yeah, the
You can
one that
have your
everyone
own
loves.
listeners. Like,
You see,
I'm not saying who's who.
well, I think the two people that at least that I know of most of is Bananas and CT, and then you have Bananas who everyone loves, right? But they know not to trust him. And
Yeah,
then you have CT who everyone loves, just loves. You know,
Hmm.
I know that, like I said before, I know that he probably had some internal drama with someone or like that, but it doesn't really come across. Even when they do have drama with him, they're like, I can't really, you know.
Yeah.
Um,
I feel like, I mean, and not to talk too much on other shows, but like even in the trailers, he definitely he played a smooth game in there until he was gone. Like he was just kind of, hey everybody, blah blah blah, and people kind of like, oh, yeah, yeah, okay,
that's a
and then all of a sudden
spoiling
it's like,
thing.
yeah, but I mean, I'm just saying he was smooth through the game, through and he's likable again by people
Hmm.
that didn't know him. Easily just comes in and does his thing.
He's very charismatic.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, Tina also said that she was frustrated with the respect that the um, sorry, she was frustrated but respects that they played the way that they played. You know, and the younger eras, season three, era three and era four, were actually, and she did acknowledge that they were actually more unified and prepared for the challenges. Not only because of the age, but because they know they were the ones that were appearing more often,
Hmm.
so they knew what was coming up. So they were
Yeah.
prepared for the game a little bit better than some of the people who had not been around for a while.
Right. Right.
Um, yeah. So let's see. Um, another kind of fracture that happened was that they know that Derek and Michelle are not going to put each other
Hmm.
into the game, which we talked about earlier. That Bananas is really trying to come between them, letting them know, hey, you know, just because you all are together doesn't mean you all have to continue working together. You really need to
Right.
work together with the for the best of your era.
Hmm. Just trying to
Um,
put that thought out there to people.
well, I mean, if you can put a crack in anyone's team, why not?
Hmm.
Because it's gonna help your team later on if you can fracture the alliances that come from two different eras, and even maybe put some doubt into their to the gameplay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Anything else that I think we talked about pretty much the episode. Um,
Yeah.
I think in the previous um, podcast episodes, we've talked about how this season seems to be very straightforward, and with people big names leaving early, there has been some sense of probably not the best season. From I want to ask you from your point of view, since this is the very first
Yeah.
full out season of the show, what do you think so far?
Um, I think it's very exciting in the sense of like there is I like the type of challenges that they're doing. I like the types of things that they're doing. I find that very exciting. I find the drama, as I don't understand it all that much, it's nice to be able to kick back with you and Ruth when we do this to get that kind of tea, to get that understanding of what's going on, why they have these previous things that have been brought into this season, and to make this season what it is. It gives me a good understanding, and the drama is neat to watch unfold. I mean, that's obviously why people like certain things. Definitely adds to the game, like you're saying, because it it makes people's gameplay what it is. I will say though, you're hitting it on the head. I feel like you're right that by getting rid of eliminating key people that people probably were coming back to watch compete
Hmm.
early on, it's going to make it a harder watch as the season goes on, because then you have personalities that you might not enjoy watching being successful.
Yeah, and actually, I think this episode was the highest rated episode as far as the amount of people that watched. And did let me ask: is this Big Brother still going on, or did it finish
Yeah.
already?
Um, it's still going on. We It was like a 2 hour, uh, so it's just down to the I want to say down
When
to the final four.
When does that come out? Is that on what day is that? Does
Um,
that?
it's
Shit.
it's on multiple days, Saul. So so
Or the main? I guess the main episode where they eliminate people.
they, they do that almost every episode.
Dang it! Well, you see, I don't
Yeah.
watch. You can tell
Yeah.
I don't watch Big Brother.
No, the
Too
one
many
that we
episodes
just
in a week.
watched, the one we just watched was Wednesday, Thursday,
When okay, so it does come out Wednesdays,
Thursday, and then Sunday,
Thursdays,
Monday. So
Thursday, Sunday, Monday. Okay,
I
I was
think
thinking
so.
maybe because I know Survivor comes out at the same almost at the same time as this, so I know
Yeah.
some of the people who watch Survivor also watch the challenge. So from what I'm hearing, the Survivor is getting decent what's it called audience at
Yeah.
live. So that probably might be some of the ratings are coming back, so people are watching Survivor instead this time around.
Hmm.
But people are coming back to the challenge right now. I wonder if that has anything to do with people who have are left, or I'm not sure what the reason that is. So this is the highest rated episode. I'm trying to find
It could
the
just be because the way that the Survivor uh, cast is rolling out, people just don't want to watch our game our Game Boy, if you will, uh, keep keep pulling out the dubs.
yeah.
But yeah, I don't know.
I'm trying. I'm trying to find the what's it called? Where I saw it earlier. I had seen it earlier where it talked about the ratings of the season. And for whatever reason, this one was the one that was the highest rated episode, and I just can't find it anymore.
Yeah, I
Oh,
think
here it
like
is.
people would probably like I said, people probably watch this because you got a lot of there's exciting challenges, athleticism, and other things like that that happen in this. Like you're seeing like in other shows, they're pushing for other things. Like obviously, like you're getting a lot of like in Survivor. Obviously, subterfuge is very important and stuff like that. So we get that with our game streamer, who is who's running circles around people, and it's like you like him on one level, but you think he's doing some dirt.
Yeah, yeah. So,
And then other,
go ahead,
yeah,
go ahead.
I was gonna say in other shows too. It's like I feel like and Anna and I have talked about this about Big Brother. It's like okay, now you're just down to and it again they did the same. It's very similar to the to what's going on here in the challenges where all your faves have been
Dwindle down.
they've left they're in the jury house and it's like okay well it's the best of the worst. So
So
I
this
feel
is
like that's
how.
the case here.
So episode one had a 0.426 million viewers.
Hmm.
Episode two had 0.446, so it went up a little there.
Hmm.
Episode three dropped to 0.407 million,
Hmm.
and then 4.7 million, so that went back up. And then by episode five, which is the sad episode,
Hmm. Yeah.
0.406. That's the episode where CT went home. For the following week, episode six, it dropped to 0.382 million.
Oh,
So we have yet to get to break a million viewers in an episode. But then this week we had 0.517 million. So for whatever reason, this was the week people decided to tune in again. Um, I'm reading through the comments of on this is of course is the numbers are official, but people are trying to figure out like what's going on with the season.
hmm.
People are wondering if it's because they came to watch Michelle play. And you know what? If what I am if my theory was true about people watching Survivor
Hmm.
and them being the fans that are not watching the challenge live, that might be it. Now knowing that Michelle was going to play, they tuned in to see her play.
Yeah, yeah. That makes sense.
So
I I do think too sometimes like I mean with the crossover of of all these shows, where you've got a lot of different contestants on the challenge that have been on all these other shows. You're definitely pulling from those pools
Mm-hmm.
of people who watch those other shows. So it does make it that exciting too. I see a lot of familiar faces from Survivor, Big Brother, and stuff like that. And so
And
that's
I wonder if because now that's all that's left. Well,
mhm,
era one is gone almost, and maybe the people who are watching are not the ones that started watching the show.
maybe.
So there are people who started watching with era two, era three,
Mhm.
era four. So if they saw, oh yeah, it's obvious that era one is going to go down, they're not watching it because of that. Now that era two, three, and four are not going to have to get dirty,
Hmm.
maybe this is where people are starting to show up. So I
Maybe
don't know.
come in when it gets hot.
Yeah, yeah. So I'm excited for the rest of the season. I want to
Yeah.
see what the I want to see era three and era four to see really what it takes to get them going. I want to see if there's any additional fractures that happen. Especially like what we said at the beginning of the episode with Josh siding with bananas with Derek Devin siding with Michelle and vice versa. What kind of cracks is gonna happen there with the cross era alliances?
Yeah, definitely. It's gonna get hot.
Yeah, well, like we said earlier, Johnny and Ryan also within the same era are starting to crack the era
Yeah,
alliances. So with inter and was it inter and intra era
yeah,
alliances are splintering now.
definitely.
All right. Yeah, I think we these episodes have been very straightforward in the last couple of weeks, and less little bit less crazy drama and more straightforward drama. And I think we've been able to talk to them pretty quickly because of that.
Yeah, definitely. I
Okay.
I would say that if I could if any producers are out there listening and they want to bring in somebody from Big Brother or two people, bring in Tucker and Cam to the challenge because honestly, like I think like personality wise and athleticism, and challenge business, like Tucker, uh, personality and just like to see how his game would be in this game, Cam. But that's just me.
Well, and the thing is that the shows are all owned by the same company, so
So it could
they don't
happen.
because from what I understand, when you go onto these reality shows, you sign something saying that for a period of time you're going to be exclusive to that company. It used to be that you're exclusive to that show,
Hmm.
but now I think it looks like they're sharing contestants and they're allowing contestants to go from not only show to show, but they're allowing contestants to go from network to network. And I think they're starting to pull people in that maybe not may not have originally seen, but because they saw CT in the trailers, I'm like, oh, let me try out the challenge. There you go, and stuff like that.
Right? Yeah. No, exciting.
All right, so let us know what you all think of the episode. And I didn't expect people to join in on this live because it's super early on a Saturday, and Saturday usually I stay in a little bit later, so I'm expecting other people to stay in. Greg doesn't sleep; he's a vampire, so he's already
Yeah.
awake. He's been awake since like 4 in the morning. Um, so yeah, but we'll see you all next time here on the Spy Shack Podcast Challenge Edition with Ruth joining us again to see if she can fill in any of the holes that we may have left out and being unable to answer.
Excellent.
See you guys.